Hello everyone, my name is Kulkarni. I am from Penza State University, second year med student. I'm here to talk about evaluation of the indicators of the stress resistance and adaptive potential of the student body. The purpose of study was to evaluate the indicator of functional state of the student in the second year of our medical facility, adapting to their new condition. Relevance of the study was it was studied for the reason of their health being, academic performance, and their cultural understanding. The health and well-being of the student as they experience high level of stress due to their new conditions. We studied their overall stress, and it will be good if we study there. It will be good for their mental health and physical health and overall well-being. The definition of stress is the person experiencing or reacting to situation deemed to be dangerous. It is stress. There are many reasons contributing to stress. They are also called as stressors. The major causes of stress are career concerns, future concerns, role of conflict, overload of the students, and also the poor working condition. General mechanism of stress. The stimulus stress goes to the cognitive evaluation, then will be followed by a physiological response, either in a form of a neuroendocrine response or followed by the behavioral response, neuroendocrine response with the help of HPA axis. Effect of stress. The stress has evolved to maintain the homeostasis under the real or perceived stress. The effect on the body, mind, and spirit are different. Like body, we can see nausea, diarrhea, headache, rapid heart rate. On the mind, we can see poor judgment, negative outlook, and indecisiveness. There are three types of major stress: acute stress, chronic stress. Acute stress for the short time, chronic stress for the long time. It will wear down you slowly. Acute episodic stress, we can say it is the repeated acute stress given again and again with more frequency. The adaptation of the body to stress, we can see GAS, which is General Adaptation Syndrome, given by Hans Silva in 1963. It gives us the three stages: alarm, resistance, and exhaustion. Alarm stage is the initial response. Resistance stage is if the stressor continues, then our response will also continue. And the exhaustion phase, as we have exhausted all our resources of the body. At any stage of this, if we remove the stressor, it will come back to the homeostasis of the body. Stress management are many tools we can use to reset our alarm system. This is used because otherwise we will stay on the high alert forever. Stress management tools are time management, listening to your favorite music, cognitive therapy, exercise, hobby, meditation, and much more. Materials and method of our study were 18 young men from Indian group and 20 young men from Arabian group. All were 18. We took their vitals like body weight, height, weight, systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure, and heart rate. Data was collected using the standard method like Kartoff's method for blood pressure and anthropometric data with scales and centimeter tapes. The blood pressure we measure in mmHg, which is millimeter of mercury. We get two values: a systolic and a diastolic. Systolic when heart pushes out the blood, and diastolic when it rests between. So both values we found were in normal range, but a slight increase was observed in the Arabian student with 95.8 in the Arabian student and 90.6 in Indian student. That optimum first described by in the work of R.M. Balskaya. We can see the formula of the adaptive potential here. The results were both in the tension adaptation mechanism with sufficient functionality, but slight increase was observed in the Arabian student again with 2.4 and Indian student with 2.13 in their values. After we have drawn a chart here. We can see adaptive potential of Indian and Arabian student, and we can see a pie graph here. In the yellow, we can see it is a majority with a tension adaptation mechanism followed by the satisfactory adaptation of the body. The level of physical condition, also called as LPC, we can see the formula of LPC given here. It gives us the health, physic, and physiological state of a body. Both values, as we found in result, were closely with 0.16 and 0.6 for Indian and Arabian students respectively. We have also plotted a pie graph here, but we can see the standard deviation in Indian student being more, which means the data was more spread out for the Indian student. Pignet's index or bodybuilding index given by Marie Charles Joseph Pignet in 1901. He was an army French doctor. We can see the formula of the Pignet's index here. Both we can see in the results were normostenic with a good physique for the values that were 19.6 in Arabian and 17.9 in Indian student. We have plotted a graph here. Again, we can see in the graph that standard deviation was more, which means the value was spread out for the Indian student more than Arabian student. We can see a pie chart here. In the yellow, we can see the majority being normosthenic, followed by hypersthenic in Indian and asthenic in the Arabian student being the second, and minority being respectively of asthenic and hypersthenic for Indian and Arabian. Karadoff's index first developed by an Hungarian physician, used by a Russian physician afterward for giving a parasympathetic and sympathetic balance. The formula of the Karadoff's index we can see here. 1 minus diastolic BP divided by pulse whole divided by 100. In this, we can find either a parasympathetic tone or a sympathetic tone. A negative indicates a parasympathetic tone. A positive value indicates the sympathetic tone. If the value is nearing 0, it is a vegetative equilibrium present. Result, we can see -6 and -3 here. This where both means the predominantly parasympathetic. Value for Arabian and Indian student, we can draw on the chart here. You can see, but a predominance and a negative more value can be found in the Arabian student. We can see a pie chart drawn here with the blue being most common, which is a parasympathetic shift. In both group, we can see Indian and Arabian student, both were predominantly parasympathetic, followed by sympathetic. Vegetative equilibrium being the smallest division here. You can see comparison between Indian and Arabian student. Systolic and diastolic were both found to be increased in Arabian student, as well as adaptive potential can be seen. Both were tension adaptation, but more pronounced in Arabian. LPC, both were normostenic. For Kardov's index, -6 being the Arabian student being more parasympathetic in nature. In Pignet's index, both were normostenic with a good physique. The conclusion of our experiment, the obtained result testifies to the tension adaptation mechanism of the foreign student in our medical faculty, but the tension adaptation was more pronounced in the Arabian student. Both of the groups showed the normostenic type, parasympathetic tone shift, we can see, but the more again pronounced in Arabian student. Overall, we can see our conclusion was to understanding the impact of the stress on international student is essential to promote their health and well-being in their academic success option and help them to aggregate into our new communities. Thank you everyone for listening.